And Sunday, you team up with Happy Shooter again after he kept on well last time out.
Yeah, it was great. He hadn't ridden for Danny for a long time, and managed to get aboard him for a winner. And yeah, that's just sort of opened the door there. So hopefully we can, after last night, grabbing another one for Danny. Hopefully, Happy Shooter can go again.
Yeah, nice win for you at Happy Valley on Wednesday. Looked like the penny was still dropping a little bit with Happy Shooter last time out, would you say?
Yeah, he's got a slightly different head carriage. He really sticks his neck out there with his head up a little bit. It's probably extenuated by his big white face. But yeah, when I had the rail the time before and a horse joined him on his outside, when he ran second, he sort of lay in onto the rail, and you could see the other day he had clear running and he was by himself down the middle, and he sort of looked to run out a little bit. So I think you have a point there. You know, he's probably still putting together the final pieces, but he's doing well. And I thought his trial into the last race gave signals that he could win, and then he trialled really well again the other day, so hopefully it's a similar sort of situation.
Yeah, and talk to me about that recent trial, because there were a couple of nice 4-year-olds in behind as well. It looked like a promising one.
Yeah, look, obviously that's his trip, the 1200, and you know, he jumped well, he got a spot, and I just liked the fact that when I pressed him, he went and picked up the leader, and then when I got half a length in front, he sort of pricked his ears a little bit, and just gave him another tap towards the line so that he maintained his nose in front. So I think it's always a good sign when they're able to respond to what you ask, but then also clock off at the same time, which he's doing. So yeah, he's a lovely horse. Doesn't show much in a gallop in the morning, but we're seeing it in the trials and race day, which is where it counts.
And the action comes thick and fast. You team up with Voyage Bubble again on Sunday in the Gold Cup. How do you assess his chances of reversing the form of Romantic Warrior?
I think we can forget the last run. He slipped coming out the gates, and he lost his balance and he lost his confidence, and he never felt comfortable or in a rhythm throughout that whole race. It was like it upset him a little bit. He wasn't moving that well, and obviously he didn't perform at his best, you know, albeit he didn't have the best trip, but he still didn't perform as well as I thought he could have. But since then he's trialled really well. I've been on him in some track work, and I feel like he's moving really, really nicely again. So we'll forget about that last run, and we know he can handle 2,000. It's a small field, it's be a tactical race. Barriers will be important. But I'm going there hopeful that we've got a chance to overturn Romantic Warrior.
And you touched on the trial there. You gave him a taste of getting his head in front of Romantic Warrior last time out. Just to expand a little bit on the field he gave you then.
Listen, it was a slowly run trial. They weren't going that fast. I was in a good spot, and you know, myself and Romantic Warrior just extended a little bit up the straight. They've been the best horses in that race, but in that trial. But yeah, they looked as if they trialled as well as each other, and you know, hopefully the result can be the same on the weekend.
1-2 strong last time out, but it looks like he lost nothing in defeat.
No, he shown a good attitude, worked hard from 14, and then I wasn't able to get the breather into him round the bend I'd have liked. And that horse actually sat up with him when and won last week. So, you know, the form's stacking up, and he's a sweet horse. Hopefully there's more to come.
He's only young, only lightly raced. Do you think there is more to come for him?
Yes, I think so. You know, he's had a hard time this year. Two runs, both drawn 14. Hopefully we've a little smaller field this week, and hopefully we can get a nice barrier and a good trip for him.
As you mentioned, that form has been franked. What's he like as an individual in the mornings or on race day?
The day he won, I lit him up a bit, and he took me on a bit, but it's actually his last run. Once he got to the front, he chilled out, took a nice breath. So he's growing up. He's a sweet horse. Does everything you ask of him. So I like him.
Bowman, the Classic Cup on Sunday, and you team up with Invincible Ibis on the back of a relatively promising 6th in the Classic Mile.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. He had to do it the hard way. The pattern of the race day and where I was in the run certainly didn't work in his favour. But look, hopefully we can get a more economical run this time, and his run in the lead up to that was very promising. And you know, I think obviously Little Paradise sort of put his stamp on the series a little bit in his dominant victory, but outside of that, I think there's 3 or 4, maybe even more, 5 or 6 runners that could really put their hand up as the distances get further, and Invincible Ibis is certainly one of them.
And he really hit the line with gusto, it looked like that day, and the step up in trip should be no problem at all.
I wouldn't have thought so. His recent trial gave me a lot of confidence. You know, he's in a good frame of mind. He's moving particularly well, and he's the right sort of natured horse for this type of environment. So yeah, no, he's ticking over nicely.
You mentioned his nature there. What's he like in the mornings?
Well, he's very quiet. I mean, I don't ride him much in the mornings, but he's a very quiet horse. He doesn't waste energy, and he showed in his races he doesn't really exert himself until he needs that extra effort, which he always seems to have. So let's hope that can work into his favour as the distances increase.
And there was plenty of pace on in the Classic Mile. You got a horse like Numbers, a front runner coming into the race as well. It looks like they could go red hot again.
Yeah, well, I would have thought so. It's going to suit him rolling on in front, but I think if you've got even pace, it suits everybody actually. So see how we go.